Good morning and welcome to Indy Ball Nation. It is a different vibe, bit of a sort of relaxed fit morning coffee energy today on the YouTube/podcast show we have going on here. Here's why. Usual week is going to look like sort of a short episode later in the week, Thursday, Friday, probably Thursday night, Friday morning episode. And then we'll do a longer episode on Mondays when usually Indy Ball action's a little bit slower. That way we can really deep dive into some things. So normal. But both episodes are going to have, series recaps and some deep dives in the series. But the longer episode will also look into some individuals, some top performers, things like that. Both will try to get interviews as often as possible, kind of like we did last week with PJ Phillips. Random content in the middle, throughout the week, not necessarily on either one of the normal 2 weekly episodes. So all that to say, this week is a weird one because we had only one league going, and they ended up having a doubleheader. So 2 out of the 15 games that we're going to be talking about ended up happening on Monday. So I was like, all right, we're not doing a Monday episode. So usually probably be a Monday night episode. So we'll do a Tuesday morning episode so we can get all that in. And also there's a lot of, season preview prep going on. Frontier League and American Association start on Thursday. Crazy to see that. It's already here. So a lot of work to do still on that one. So I'm treating myself to a bit of a laid back episode. We're not even really going deep dive series this time around. We'll just do some recaps. Maybe talk some top performers, and then we'll keep it on rolling. So I can do the season preview episodes, not shortchange that, and then we'll be back at it as usual. So in short, we're doing a bit of a different episode today. And with that out of the way, welcome to Indy Ball Nation. Like and subscribe if you would like to. Not sure I would. What I do know is that in the words of JFK, it's a top-down Tuesday, Playboy. Play the intro. JFK got shot on a Friday. Any hoodles, we'll kick things off with the big matchup of the weekend. It was Charleston, who just took 2 out of 3 from High Point, facing off against those South Division powerhouses out of Gastonia, welcoming them to town. And the Dirty Birds again answered the bell, taking 2 out of 3. They win the bookends 2-1 and 8-7. Gastonia snagged that middle game by a 6-1 final. David LeBron and Brett Daniels dueled on the mound Friday night. Both Gabriel Council and Rusper Estrada, who we've talked about already a bunch on this channel this season, with their solo home runs, outdoing a solo home run from Braxton Davidson. That all of the runs scored in this game were off of solo shots to get Charleston the win. It was 3 1/3 scoreless of relief from Juan Diaz, which was just too little too late in Game 2 for Charleston. Gastonia brought more great work on the mound, but backed it up this time with a better team effort offensively, putting the game out of reach in the middle innings for that 6-1 win on Saturday. And then we had a banger on Sunday with 6 different ties and lead changes, featuring 5 home runs, including 2 off the bat of Josh Stowers, who was a damn problem all day in this one. Gastonia pushed a run across in the 10th, but the Dirty Birds offense stayed relentless as they do. It's Brian Blanton coming in, walking the bases loaded, which opened the door for Kevin Maton and a walk-off single from him. Charleston is now your division leader, and after taking these series from the Rockers and Gastonia, okay. I wouldn't have guessed it. I think everyone looked at their schedule and said, well, that's not really the way to open the year. They had Staten Island to open, which was a massively improved team off of last year, and then straight to High Point and Gastonia. But no, okay, walk out of that with the division lead. You do you, Charleston. Absolutely wild stuff. Let's go north to the other divisional series between the Ducks and Hagerstown. Then we'll talk the interdivision games, I guess will be the case. The Flying Boxcars got to open their new ballpark finally, handing the ball to Mike Kickham, who delivered 6 innings of 1-run ball. Looked very good. However, it was Daniel Corsino on the other end handling his business as well for the Ducks, keeping this game close, sending it to extras. The Ducks scored 2 in the 10th, but a pair of late errors cost them, and Hagerstown opened Meritus Park with a walk-off win. These teams would reconvene for a doubleheader on Monday, 4 o'clock, and then a late night game. Hagerstown grabs game 1, clinching this series on the back of another solid outing from Parker Markle. We'll talk about him at some point, how good he's been, maybe in our Thursday-Friday episode. Before that, the Ducks would then go on to salvage that second game of the day and the third game of the series. Big shout out to Anthony Antonini, who continued his hot start to the season. He went 3 for 3 in the game 2 of that doubleheader with a homer. He was 4 for 4 with a walk on the day, 3 RBIs, and that home run. He even had a sac fly. Teach the kids something about selflessness. Still said selfishness. I wanted to. So that's, we'll psychoanalyze that at a different time, huh? Let's look at that interleague slate. Let's start things out with High Point. Why not? We talked about them a little bit, getting beat by Charleston. They're looking to bounce back from dropping those 2 out of 3 to the Dirty Birds. They took York on. They were riding high off a series win against Gastonia. That momentum would continue for the Revs as they grabbed 2 out of 3 from the Rockers. They win 6-2 and 8-2 before dropping Game 3 5-1. Ethan Lindau, he was dealing Friday night outside of 2 pitches that found the seats. However, David Washington went Yahtzee in his first at-bat with the team, and Kieran Devaney said, I got 2 more of those homers, where that came from. Ethan Lindau still gets his dub, and the Revs win Game 1. Aaron Fletcher and John Olson were lights out for the Revolution on Saturday, shutting down, almost English, almost had it in the notes there, Ryan, you tried so hard. Shutting down that powerful offense for the Rockers in their own yard. That hurts. But finally, that offense would start to find their own high point in the weekend on Sunday. 3 bombs from the Rockers and a lights-out start from Brandon Liebrandt. That ended up salvaging Game 3 for High Point. Liebrandt has since been signed by the Rangers, unless I'm completely making up the team he got signed for, but I'm almost positive it was Rangers in that graphic I read. The Blue Crabs, they went up to Staten Island looking to shake off a 2-5 start against a FerryHawks team that just made a huge statement sweeping Long Island over the weekend? During the week. What day is it? Help me. I gotta get back on this posting schedule. But it was the Blue Crabs digging in and handling their business to spoil Staten Island's opening weekend, taking 2 out of 3. They grabbed Game 1 7-4 and Game 2 13-2 before losing Game 3 10-3. Staten Island worked out some demons on that Sunday on them, I'll tell you. Garrett Martin and Neil Lang, they were both dealing for the Crabs in their starts. Meanwhile, Anthony Bricado hit a pair of bombs to lead the offense Friday and Saturday. But it was the FerryHawks who were all over Daryl Thompson on Sunday. Tagged him for 9 runs, 6 earned, over 6 2/3 innings. Yikes. 2 straight rough starts from Daryl. Nick Scantlin, Tyler Motter, and Pablo Sandoval all made noise at the dish for Staten Island to close out the weekend. Something to watch there, possibly for the Blue Crabs. Daryl teams, I never bet against Daryl, but it does me go, Where are we on the aging curve? Is it this year? Is it this year the aging curve actually happens? I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it. Daryl's going to be Daryl. Finally, Lexington took the ride to Lancaster after taking 2 out of 3 from those Blue Crabs, but they would lose 2 of 3 to the Stormers, who entered on a 4-game win streak. Brady Tedesco led the way Friday night with 6 innings of sauce off that new turf mound, which should be illegal, but I digress. I will not have that rant right now. The Stormers jumped on David Reckers to open up a 10-2 lead in the third. This one was called due to rain after 5 innings, which I think everyone was pretty cool with. That old League of Their Own line, I have seen enough to know I have seen too much. On Sunday, it was Lexington's turn to swing the stick around in Amish country. 4 homers and 3 hit games from Whalen, Liniak, O'Brien, and Jemison put a positive spin on the back end of the Legends trip up north. Let's take a look at the standings. Starting in the north, York and Lancaster now share first at 6-4. That's good for the rivalry boys. Staten Island sits a game behind at 5-5. That's Hagerstown and Long Island, fresh off their series. They are now tied at the back of the division with a 4-6 record. Down south, it's the Dirty Birds in the Dirty South, sitting in sole possession of first place. Hell yeah, let's get weird. Why not? They're at 7-3. Then it's a game between each team all the way down. High Point's at 6-4. Gastonia's at 5-5. Southern Maryland's at 4-6, and it's Lexington at 3-7. As I said in the open, I will not be deep diving too much in this episode, but let's shout out some top performers from the past week. Anyway, on the batting side, a lot to choose from right now. A lot of dudes are hot at the dish. I'll go with the Legends' Brady Whalen. 10 for his last 24, 3 homers in those. 4 doubles, 5 walks, 9 RBI. Get after it. Michael Wylansky, always nasty. Anytime he's touching Atlantic League pitching, it's a bad thing if you're on the bump. 11 for 22 stretch right now. 2 doubles, 7 walks over that stretch. Only 2 strikeouts. Gross. Like 31 plate appearances, something like that in there. 2 Ks. That's tough. 2 steals also mixed in because why not? A little something. Gastonia's Josh Stowers, we did reference him earlier. 2 homers over the past week, 7 for 19 in that time, a double, 6 walks, 5 ribbies, and 3 steals. How about that? On the pitching side, again, there's plenty of good options, but I'll shout out York's Jake Olson. 8 shutout innings of relief over the past 6 games. 2 hits, 11 strikeouts in those 8 innings. Brandon Liebrandt, he doesn't need a shout out because he just got signed by the Rangers. And then the other guys who they keep sticking out in my mind, Trey Supak and Caleb Barriger, both got shout outs on Thursday, which is why we usually like to space these conversations out. Whoops. We'll be back in the routine. Now, who do I think is due for a bounce back? That's not how you spell due, Ryan, but hey, why would I rat out my own bad notes? Anywho, last week I picked out Stephen Woods Jr. and Wellington Dotel as the guys who are going to turn it around. Woods hasn't pitched yet. Insert disclaimer about why this is usually a weekly conversation here and not every 3 days. It's fine. It's my fault. But Dotel, he did go back-to-back offers after I was like, oh, he's going to turn around. And then he had a 3-hit day, falling a home run short of the cycle in the second game of that doubleheader Hagerstown plays. So that's a 205-point bump in the OPS in 3 games. I'm calling that a success. You're welcome. Well, we did it. I'm not saying it was all me. I'm saying him and I shared that success. I wasn't involved in the first 2 games. No, I was. It's fine. It's a process. I'll take it. It's fine. I'm sure he would agree. Don't ask him. Offensively, I'm keeping an eye this week on, oh man, I mean, there's a few guys I can pick from. Quick scroll. Guys I'm concerned with, honestly, Pablo Sandoval, Keon Barnum, Wilman Candelario, Jason Guzman, Yuri Perez, all kind of got turned around here. I don't know about Yuri Perez, actually. He just had I think he's got a 3-game hit streak right now, so he's starting to get back. He's getting back. So I'm going to go, how about Charleston's Tillman Pugh? 7 for 34 start to the year. He's on a 2 for 18 stretch. I don't think that's the Tillman Pugh that we know or that we're going to see. There's always weird questions around Tillman because he's been so good in the Atlantic League, but also it's kind of random. He came right from the Pacific Association, so there's always that seed of doubt is it eventually going to catch up? I don't think so. I think he's not striking out right now. He's had 2 strikeouts in the last 3 games. That's not bad. And ball's getting in play. It's just not finding gaps. So I like Tillman Pugh to turn around this coming week. On the pitching side, some names that stand out are Daryl Thompson. He needs a good start. Nick Galeese. Wei-Yin Chen needs a good start. Jorge Batista. But I'm still just saying Stephen Woods Jr. is my turnaround pick until that wish comes true because he hasn't even gotten a start since I started beating that drum for him. And we're dealing with one pressing emergency at a time here, boys. We're not overextending ourselves this early in the year. I'm kidding. I'm so overextended. Why'd I say we do season preview episodes? Why are the Frontier League and the American Association starting on the same day? I'm not doing well. It'll be fine. Let's talk about what's coming up next week. We got American Association preview, Frontier League preview. I'm not going to tell you when that's happening. It'll be a surprise, probably to all of us. And the Atlantic League. Oh, let's all take a walk over to the Atlantic League schedule because I did not write it down. But here's what we've got this week coming up. That's not the schedule I wanted. Shout out to the new site, by the way. Good job, Atlantic League. Way to be adults. Love that. Okay, what do we got here? This week we're going to have Lexington at Southern Maryland. What is this? What is the schedule? I'm leaving all this in because why would you organize a schedule this way? It's April. There's a April 30th game that I guess just hasn't been scrubbed off the schedule yet, so just there. What are we doing? Just complimenting you, Atlantic League. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. We're going to be fine. Gastonia goes to Hagerstown this week. Lexington goes to Charleston. That'll be Lexington, that's a tough draw. Got to get it done, though. Got to get at least one out of that. York at Lancaster, division leaders, going in tied for the lead in the North. Love that. Gastonia lost 2 series in a row. They're going to have something to prove with Hagerstown this week. High Point goes to Southern Maryland. Southern Maryland trying to keep some momentum going. High Point needs to turn around too. They've just lost 2 series in a row. And then Lexington, and we're back to Lexington and Charleston. So yeah, look at us. Go team. That was sloppy at the end. Ducks FerryHawks. That's right. Ducks trying to bounce back from the FerryHawks sweeping them. No Tuesday game for them. Interesting. Anyway, there you go. Sloppy end of the episode. That's what I do. You thought this was going to be organized? No. With all that out of the way, finally, Ryan, what are we doing here, buddy? Enjoy some baseball this week. We'll chat sometime. Thursday, Friday, Wednesday? Probably not Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday. We'll see. Until then, though, I'm Ryan from Indy Ball Nation. You have a good one.
I may not have a lot, but I love what I got. A 4x4 and a good fishing spot. hope this time my card won't decline.